Pixar and Disney have always been the top animation studios in the game, even standing apart when they joined forces. Pixar is the engine that is constantly creating films that break their characters so flawed. Which film did they say no to being a musical, and will the studio ever make one? What is Pixar's mysterious secret weapon called the Brain Trust? Watch this video until the end to find out all the ways that Pixar is Disney's naughty.
Go. Okay, going in, yes!
It seems like every film Pixar brings to the silver screen is a hit, and in 2015, when Inside Out was released, audiences were blown away. It wasn't necessarily the absurdity of being inside a young girl perfect. In Disney, there is always a line between good and evil, whereas in Pixar, their characters can teeter between both. In Toy Story, Woody is kinda mean, and that's okay. People aren't just one thing, and Pixar wants to show that. The characters in Pixar are more often confined fairy tales that are significantly more escapist. Pixar has always dealt with more mature and often painstaking what-if scenarios that reflect the real world back to us. Disney comes out with Frozen while Pixar tells stories such as Up. Wait, aren't they the same thing? Actually, no. The difference is shown in Disney films versus Pixar films. In Disney, the villains drive the plot forward, such as Scar in The Lion King or Jafar in Aladdin. In Pixar, the antagonists pose a different threat. The approach to the opening of their films differs greatly. Disney seems to believe that if they let kids go without stimulation, including loud noises and fast images, kids will get bored. Pixar, on the other hand, takes risks in their opening. Disney is always making dreams come true. Their shtick since the beginning has been princesses and fairy tales, and it's always worked. I mean, it's called Disney magic for a reason. Why did The Incredibles 2 take 10 years to make? Pixar is known for not doing sequels, whereas Disney will greenlight any as soon as they see the success of the first. Now, however, Pixar is doing sequels, but only. The looks of the characters from Disney to Pixar vary greatly. Pixar always uses the look and face of the character to say something about who they are before they speak. Pixar puts time into texture and
there goes the baker with his tray like always. The same old bread and rolls to serve.
So we've all noticed that Disney is having a midlife crisis and making a live-action version of all their famous fairy tales. However, they are updating them to be slightly more modern. Beauty and the
Snow cone?
No, don't worry. It's lemon.
Despite Pixar's main audience being children, their films are always accessible to adults. Pixar leaves in little pieces of gold for parents, double-sided jokes and innuendos.
Yeah, where's the food?
What did you do?
It was an accident.
The heroes in Disney and Pixar films are vastly different. Disney heroes are mainly flawless, and if they do have flaws, Finding Nemo is always afraid, which he has to overcome. Woody is self-centered, which causes the drama of Toy Story. Through their flaws, we learn more and relate to them more. If they all start out heroic, then where can they go from there?
I am Merida. Firstborn.
Pixar built its reputation on real-life animation stories, which allows audiences to connect with their characters on a deeper level.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife.
Director-driven studio and invest their money in individuals with ideas. So until a director feels strongly that making a film a musical is the only way to tell the story, Pixar will stick to what is clearly working best. Coco definitely came close, so maybe we'll see a full-on Pixar animation studios. Disney cares more about money, while Pixar cares more about art. During the making of Coco, when Disney's business side got involved, they tried to trademark Dia de los Muertos, which is like attempting to trademark Christmas. Obviously, they received a ton. Disney and Pixar both have shorts before their feature animated films from time to time. Before the film Coco, a 20-minute long Frozen short even scared audiences into thinking they were in the wrong to joyfully surprise audiences. Pixar's shorts are even as good as the main film. What's your favorite?
Oh no, I think I swallowed my squeaker.
Disney has eaten up Lucasfilm, often pushed back against Disney. For example, they said no to Toy Story 2 becoming a musical, and thank goodness for that. One thing Pixar does that no one else does is say a big loud no to Disney when they need to.
Come on, Buzz. Yeah, ride like the wind, Bullseye.
Finding Dory. Do you think the chase scenes work?
Looks like it's gonna be a perfect day to maybe, hey, just lie in bed, sleep in,
or simply...
Work out that slab that's hanging over the bed! Get up, Sully!
Disney often tells love stories, whereas Pixar, and now it has become their signature. Disney is the same, making fantasy love stories their money-making bread and butter. It does seem like Moana and Wreck-It Ralph may be changing Disney's limits, though. Do you think Disney will venture beyond their comfort zone more?
25 years ago, he revolutionized the animation industry.
Art challenges technology. Technology inspires
leadership, Disney came out with innovative new films. On the flip side, Pixar lost a little of their originality and reverted to sequels. That being said, all their sequels are just as emotionally provoking, with stories as strong as the first. Was Finding Dory maybe the stories? Pixar rarely relies on outside help. Apparently, it has gone so far that agencies won't even send their writers to Pixar. Disney is more willing to collaborate with new writers and keep them on for multiple projects, if it works out. Something Pixar won't do unless you were already one of Bell, Jafar, you name it. But in 2009, it became increasingly difficult to see the difference between the two major studios. With the release of Tangled and then Wreck-It Ralph, Disney was beginning to adopt Pixar's storytelling methods, while at the same time, Pixar started to fall back on marriages, but Pixar has nailed it to a T. The studio has enough skilled writers to make a marriage be the central conflict and still be entertaining. Take The Incredibles, for example. Disney, on the other hand, likes to show the romance and true love's kiss or none at all, like Moana. One major difference: the brain trust. What is the brain trust, you ask? Pixar has a core group that everything goes through at the studio. Screenwriters bring scripts there, and directors must show the visuals as they progress. Disney has a similar structure because John Lasseter...
When I started directing Monsters Incorporated, the way I would pitch it is, it's about a monster who scares kids for a living. That's his job. He clocks in, he clocks out, he eats donuts and talks about union dues, and we thought that was a pretty funny idea. And sure enough, when I would tell it to people, they would smile.
What if toys could talk? That question in itself is enough to ignite our imaginations and take them to the magical worlds that aren't on screen. But the true essence of Pixar comes from these fantastical questions, based on reality. Talking? Do you prefer Disney or Pixar? Are there any differences that you noticed? Remember to hit the subscribe button for more great videos like this, and give us a like. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.